message of the prophets and the tradition of the sages and scribes was pure oral expression only for a short period of time until it began to be written down. The process was long and was initiated with the carvings in stone and clay. The Bible is the written word that God, revealing himself in human history, has resonated through time, through the words of the prophets and wise men, through Jesus and the apostles. The first 5 books of the Bible form a whole that Jews consider central to their religious experience, the Torah.
La Bibbia, questo complesso di libri, ha 2 autori.
This collection of books, the Bible, has 2 authors, the divine author, who is God himself, and the human author, who are the hagiographers, the writers. God, as divine author, inspired and assisted the intelligence, the will, the executive power of men, who then put the word in writing with their literary genius. In word and deed, the Word of God is then, so to speak, crystallized, poured in the script, forming what we call the Bible.
E costituiscono quello che noi chiamiamo la Bibbia.
The history of God's people begins with both a call and a promise. The call to Abraham to leave his home, and this promise, I will make of you a great nation. The stories of the people of Abraham developed over centuries in many settings of eastern places as well as in the desert. On Mount Sinai, God revealed himself to Moses. Mount Sinai was the scenery in which the covenant between God and his people was stipulated. God, having spoken many times and in various ways through the prophets, spoke through the Son in these last days. Jesus left us very simple stories and anecdotes accessible to all, to the fishermen of Galilee and the scribes of Jerusalem. His disciples have conveyed the testimony of his life through the gospel.
La persona di Gesù non è frutto della fantasia di un autore.
The person of Jesus is not the fruit of the imagination of an author, a novelist, or a writer. The soul of the community springs from him. Jesus lives in the community. Therefore, the first community has continuity with the person of Jesus from the liturgy, in the sense that the community in Jerusalem commemorates the events at certain times and places where the events took place. The community must have had a special memory.
In tempi determinati e nei luoghi dove erano avvenuti gli avvenimenti, la comunità deve avere una memoria particolare.
The Vulgate, the first complete translation of the Bible in Latin, is the most challenging endeavor tackled by Jerome. In 382, commissioned by Pope Damasus I, he accomplished the task of revising the translation of the Gospels. Later in 390, he worked on the Old Testament in Hebrew, completing the project after 23 years.
Betlemme, proprio accanto alla più famosa grotta della Natività, c'è una piccola grotta meno conosciuta.
In Bethlehem, right next to the first and most famous cave of the Nativity, there is a small cave which is called the Tomb of St. Jerome. However, the saint's body is no longer here. There is only his tomb. The body was transported to Rome by the Crusaders as a trophy of war, but it is no longer in the site where it was placed at the beginning. The same tomb has continued to be an important memory for Christians, given the importance of the figure of St. Jerome for all Christendom. The translator of the Bible into Latin, the most popular translation, the Vulgate, translated directly from the original texts from the original Hebrew, which later was translated into Greek and other languages.
Dall'originale ebraico, ebraico, greco, greco.
Today we can read the Bible on our computers, phones, and tablets. We can find any verse or chapter of the New and Old Testament with a simple search. The technology also allowed the Word of God to become more widespread and known all over the world, from the papyrus rolls to the stone inscriptions, from clay to parchment, and now the Nano Bible is contained in a microchip, the smallest Bible in the world. The site of the Studium Biblicum Franciscanum offers a full documentary, God Speaks, for those who want to watch it.